You are now listening to WSN, Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
Home of the hottest takes and the best interviews in college radio.
Hold on, wait a minute. We need a little more energy. This is Sports Pack. Yeah, there we go.
Home of the hottest takes and debates.
There is no way I'm going to sit here and roll with Jared Stidham and Aiden O'Connell.
Richard.
There's just no way.
And the best interviews in college radio.
This is five-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor.
This is Super Bowl champion quarterback Brad Johnson, and you're listening to Sports Pack on the Wolf Sports Network.
And the Wolves play here.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic Monday edition of Sports Pack. I am your host, Richard Reed, joined by Carly Pear on her birthday.
Woo-woo, big 21.
Our guy Michael Miller filling in, and Jackson Schrader. How are y'all feeling today?
Like $1 million.
I'm feeling fantastic.
Yeah, sorry for the slight delay. Ran into a couple issues. Our guy John, who normally sits in the seat I'm sitting in on the board right now, he was out, and I pressed the wrong button earlier, but we're 5 minutes late. But we still made it on another Monday edition of Sports Pack, and it's actually our last week of the semester. So I thank you all for staying tuned through the slight technical difficulties to join us on today's show. We got a lot to get into. The NFL draft was this past weekend. There's a lot of big-time storylines, one of the biggest being Shedeur Sanders sliding to the 5th round and going to the Cleveland Browns. The NBA playoffs has been in full swing with exciting games and very controversial endings, whole lot of sports news, and UWG athletics wrapped all in between. We got a whole lot to get to. But before we get started, let me just remind you that in a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign, reminding you that there is no drinking under the age of 21, to never drink and drive, even if it's only one beer, and to add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. Carly, like I said, it's your birthday. I know you just turned 21, but I don't know what you plan on going out there and doing for the rest of this week, celebrating that 21st. It's a very special birthday. You should go out and celebrate. Just remember to be safe and drink responsibly when doing so.
Always.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That is wolfradio.com/bookdrive. Now let's get into some UWG athletics.
As Widener rolls to the right, he's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it, and it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
We had a very, very, very long weekend for our I'm looking at the wrong thing, for our UWG baseball team, as we lost all 3 games in our most recent 3-game series against Jacksonville University on the road in the new home of all A-Sun Athletics, Jacksonville, Florida, losing the first game 3-1, the second game 3-2, and the last game 6-5. We got a nice little break throughout this week before our next A-Sun series begins this Friday evening in DeLand, Florida against Stetson University. Like I said, another 3-game series will begin. But before we move on to that one, we got to reflect on this past weekend. Schrader, I want to start with you. What went wrong in all 3 games this past weekend?
I mean, the way I look at it, like we were competing in every single game we were in.
Right.
We just couldn't get the job done. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of been a problem all year, and you see it at its full effect right there. I mean, 3 really close games, 3-1, 3-2, 6-5. Like 2 of those are 1-run games. So really, you just got to look at the team and you got to get the bats and the pitching on the same page. If you can do that, you'll be fine for the rest of the season. So really, it just wasn't really complimentary baseball.
Michael?
I mean, it's been those 3 games are like every game I've watched this year for us. It's either like the bats are going and the pitching's off, or the pitching's going and the bats are off. And I mean, you saw that in the first 2 games. Pitched well, didn't hit the ball at all. Second game hit the ball well, couldn't pitch. So been the same thing all season.
Man, I feel you, man. We've got to find some kind of way to get together because I think our record is currently sitting at 17-24. Not the greatest, 7 games below 500. Currently on a 4 or 5 game losing streak as we stand.
Not a good one.
Exactly. I mean, we're not sitting in a good place right now, but we're also not terrible. We're like the middle of the A-Sun rankings.
Yeah.
There's still time to get this to right this ship.
just get hot at the right time, and I mean anything can happen. Baseball is one of those sports. Like just look at Ole Miss. 2-3 years ago? I mean, they were the last team in the tournament, and they won it all. So if you can get hot at the right time, then you'll be good.
Exactly. Fingers crossed that our West Georgia Wolves will find some kind of way to recreate that magic that Ole Miss team had a few years back. Now let's go ahead and jump right over to our softball team, who's also in a bit of a rough spot right now, currently on a 5-game losing streak after this past weekend's 3-game series against Florida Gulf Coast. There was a doubleheader this past Saturday. They lost the first game 2-1, second game 10-5. And then the last game of the triple-header was on Sunday at 12 p.m. and they lost 8-3. You can see our girls. You can see our girls next in Jacksonville, Alabama, where they will be on the road taking on Jacksonville State. Now, Michael, I want to start with you on this one. I know you've had a few chances to see our softball team in action. I can't remember if you called their game or if you called the baseball game, but either way, your face has been in the place throughout the season. What is going on with this team this year?
It really, to me, is just kind of it's the lack of pitching that's hurting them.
Yeah.
I feel like if this team could pitch on a more consistent basis,
100%.
Because we're hitting the ball fairly well, not incredible, but I mean to a good enough rate to win more games than we have. It's just you have to give yourself chances to win, and a lot of these scores you're getting down early in the game and you're putting yourself away before you even have a chance to do anything.
Yeah. So when you do have struggles with pitching, is there a certain way you could go about fixing this, or is this the kind of thing you just got to ride out throughout the rest of the season? Because our team is currently sitting at, Our team is currently sitting at 12-36. So it doesn't seem like we've been able to fix it so far. But do you feel like there is a way to kind of fix this problem throughout the rest of the season?
I mean, I feel like at this point, I don't want to be down, but I feel like at this point in the season, you just kind of have what you have, and you just have to deal with it the rest of the way.
Sitting with 4 games left, I mean, what's the best we can be? 16-36, 20 games below 500.
But you know what? I'll take that. If we can win these last 4 games of the season, what do you say? We'll be 20-36,
under 500.
Hey man, you know what? At this point, take what you can get. 4 games left on the road at Jacksonville State, ending the season this weekend with a road series at Stetson. Okay, just like how our men's team is. That's why it kind of threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ASUN tournament, May 10th in Oxford, Alabama. Who knows what may happen? I've seen crazier things. You just mentioned that Ole Miss team, Schrader. But let's get into some sports news.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani after signing him to a record-breaking contract.
Nick Saban is retiring.
Breaking news on Sports Pad.
I take that back. You know what? I was a little off in my timing. Like I said, John's usually sitting right here. We're a little off right now. We're actually going to take a quick ad break, but stay tuned because when we get back, we're going to jump into sports news and we're going to jump into this crazy weekend of NBA playoffs that I don't know if you've seen it, but it was insane, and we're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. This is Sports Back on Wolf Sports Network.
It's a brand new season, and you know what that means. A brand new series. Kool-Aid Jackson Cook. Mark my words, by the end of his career, Nolan Arenado will be better than Chipper Jones. Jackson Cook. New short series, exclusively on Wolf Sports Network YouTube. Kool-Aid Jackson Cook. Make sure to like and follow on all socials for more content.
Sports fans, are you looking for a show where you can see other sports fans sharing in your misery and excitement? Then Sports Out of Pocket is for you, because we're fans too, and we experience our highs.
Bertigine is not a safety. He's just a corner who will lock down your number one.
And our lows.
Trayshawn Ward. Screw you, buddy. You were on our team last year, and you gave us no mercy, okay?
So join us every Wednesday at 5 to cheer and boo along with us, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Let me tell you all about this new show that's going to be on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all college basketball, football, and baseball. Every Tuesday at 6. The Playbook, only on Wolf Sports Network. Man, this beat brings back memories.
It's time to introduce Wolf Sports Network's newest show, The Playbook. Your home for college football, baseball, and basketball. And just like VCU in 2011, we're set to make a Cinderella run to the top of a Wolf Sports Network.
The Rams are going to the Final Four!
Tune in live every Tuesday from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack every Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We're collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That is wolfradio.com/bookdrive. Wolf Sports Network is looking to be the best in national and international awards for the third year. Our success and experience is made possible by Westwoods Apartments, the only off-campus housing that is 100% student living. No more living with your mom or little kids. No, more information is located at livewestwoods.com and at livewestwoods on Instagram. That is livewestwoods.com and at livewestwoods on Instagram.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani after signing him to a record-breaking contract.
Nick Saban is retiring.
Breaking news on Sports Pack. And now it's... Man, we are all out of sorts without John.
It's just me. It's just me.
Finally here with your sports news. Nothing too crazy going on, but first thing I want to start off with, so the minor league baseball team, the Augusta Green Jackets, based out of Augusta, Georgia, they are a Braves affiliate team. They just dropped a alternate identity branding in terms of like their colors and things like that. It's super cool. It pays tribute to the Masters and kind of what goes on around them. So their alternate identity would be the Augusta Azaleas, and so they have like this pretty pink and purple with the green. Guys, look it up if you're listening. I really like the colors of it. I'm showing everybody around the table.
Wow. Was it like it's like a Patrick pink and a olive green?
Yes, it's a Patrick pink, maybe more of like a Kelly green.
As in Patrick Star.
I really like
you
it.
Old folks out there.
First of all, I think it's really cool that the Augusta Green Jackets. First of all, green jacket, the Masters, you get the green jacket.
Hey.
But also, their mascot is like a yellow jacket, like, you know, like the bug. Yeah. But it's a green.
Yep.
So,
Love it.
Their branding team is pretty iconic. So, if you guys haven't checked out minor league baseball, please do. We have a ton around us, so be sure to do that. Next up, what I want to talk about, we have Phoenix at the table around us right now.
What's up, Phoenix?
Hi. Yes, she is our resident volleyball girl. So I want to throw it over to you. Nebraska had their spring volleyball game against Kansas this weekend. Kind of walk us through this and what's it all about?
Yeah, so I'm super excited for college volleyball to be back. But I'm going to give a little recap about John Cook and him retiring. So he was the head coach for 25 seasons at Nebraska, and he led them to 4 national championships and 15 conference titles.
Wow.
And he just now retired this year, and alum Danny Busboom Kelly, which she actually played for him when she was in college, so it's full circle. And she coached at Louisville for 8 seasons and made them one of the top teams in the ACC. So this was their first game playing for her, which I'm sure was very different.
Yeah, I bet.
But they swept the Jayhawks in 4 sets. So also the freshmen, this was their first time playing, and freshman Ryan Hunter had 11 kills and hit 563%, which she was up there with Andy Jackson, who is a junior, and Rebecca Alec, who's a senior. So it's crazy to see that a freshman is competing well with them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wait, so this was their spring game, correct?
Yes.
And you said in their spring game they took on the Kansas Jayhawks?
Yeah.
So this is another sport where in their spring games they are facing another university.
Yeah.
Only college football was allowed to do that.
How about that?
I'm sure some individuals have had that to be an idea, though, right?
I mean, yeah,
like surely
people have gotten together. You know, I mean, I hate to turn this to a college football conversation, but that's really what stood out to me just then. And we'll get back to it in a second. But I do just want to say this: they tried to do it in college football this past year. You know, Colorado tried to do it with North Carolina and against Syracuse. And what did the NCAA do, Schrader?
Nope.
They declined it and said they didn't have enough time to promote it. Well, it's not the NCAA's job to promote things; it's on the university
have enough time to make money. That's
wild,
dumb.
right? Wild.
Continue.
But sorry about that.
No,
Phoenix.
no worries.
Quick tangent. Me and Schrader looked at each other. I think we were both thinking the exact same thing, so I just had to put it out there.
Yes.
Yeah, but basically, Danny said that she wanted to kind of just let everyone play and have their time out there and not really have a certain rotation. So A couple freshmen were able to show off, and another freshman, Campbell Flynn, she's a setter. She had 23 assists and 3 digs, and then Bergen Riley, who's a junior, had 19 assists and 8 digs. So the freshmen are really competing right now, competing for their spot, and giving the older girls a run for their money. But I'm super excited to see what else they have going on this season, and yeah.
So is Wisconsin normally the powerhouse of college volleyball?
No, it's Nebraska.
It is Nebraska.
Nebraska sold out their football stadium last year for a women's volleyball game.
I remember that. I knew it was one of those 2 Big Ten schools, and that's how I got them mixed up because they're both in the Big Ten, and both their colors are red and white.
Well, you're thinking of Wisconsin for the wrong thing.
I'm not really sure what you might be referring to, but I think we should move on. Because Carly, what else do you have in sports news?
So over the weekend, do you guys know anything about Premier League over in Europe?
No.
Okay.
I have a friend named Kingston that's like really in the Premier League. He was actually supposed to come to West Georgia and join Wolf Sports Network, but he flaked on me. So Kingston, if you're listening, this would have been your opportunity. You sold yourself short.
It really would have. Well, the Premier League, I guess, championship happened over the weekend, and Liverpool ended a multiple decade streak of finally getting this proper title win. Y'all be sure to go check it out. I really kind of got into the Premier League when I started watching the Apple TV Ted Lasso show. If you guys have not seen it, it is so good. It really opens your eyes to just the Premier League and really just the atmosphere behind it. That's in Europe, so be sure to check out Ted Lasso to get your feet into the Premier
Carly,
League.
how much is Apple TV? That's such a niche streaming service.
Hey, Ted Lasso is so good.
I was about to say, I feel like it's just Ted Lasso Plus. Like that's the reason people get Apple TV.
Because like, what else is on Apple TV other than that one show? I can
tell you.
So you have the only use for that one show.
Yeah,
that's so real.
And that should speak volumes as to why you guys should go watch it. Not a plug, but it's good.
But a plug.
Okay. But thank you. Personally, I like shows that open the door to like new sports and just getting to know more about different sports. So be sure to go watch it. But we can't move forward without talking about Talladega over the weekend. It was kind of the beginning of, I guess, this race season in terms of NASCAR. So Austin Cindric, he got his first win this season, and he got his victory wreath and got to drive it around the track and all that fun stuff. And, John actually got to work it over this weekend. And so he would have been perfect to talk about it.
For this segment.
I was just about to say, Lord have mercy, we need John Howley.
What would we do without John Howley? But
yeah, exactly what's happening right now. And it's so crazy because he worked Talladega this weekend.
Yeah.
He was there the entire weekend working the race.
Now he's working for the Braves.
And now he's working for the Braves.
He's going further than I'm ever going to go.
John has lapped us twice in 3 days.
Literally, Talladega lap. Get it? Okay. With that being said, we're going to talk some NBA.
Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Baby, let's talk some NBA.
Carly, you need to do stand-up because that right there was incredible. But not today. Go ahead and sit down. All right, Lim, thank you for joining us.
I'm all about transitions. Okay? Man.
Lim, I want to thank you for coming on for our NBA segment. As always, it has been a jam-packed NBA playoff so far. I said jam-packed. It's been a crazy NBA playoff so far. And we had a jam-packed weekend this past weekend. But I want to start with yesterday afternoon's games, and I want to start with the New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons, and what has been an amazing series. Every single game in the series so far has come down to one possession, and the Knicks currently have a 3-1 lead. And what yesterday was an outstanding game. Excuse me, we saw Jalen Brunson go down with an ankle injury in the third quarter. The same ankle injury that had him missing 15 games during the regular season. He found a way to come back into the game, and boy was he clutch. Ended the game with 32 points. Karl Anthony Towns hit a big three at the end of the game. He finished with 27, and Josh Hart had 14 points. But on the other side of the ball, Cade Cunningham had 25 points, with 18 from Tobias Harris and 14 from Tim Hardaway Jr. The same Tim Hardaway Jr. that was fouled on a three-point shot with just seconds left in the game. But that foul was not called, and the New York Knicks went on to win that game 94-93 instead of what should have happened, which would have been Tim Hardaway Jr. getting the chance to shoot 3 free throws, only down 1 point. The NBA came out later that game, not even 10 minutes after the game ended. The lead official from that game, the same one that missed the call that he was 5 feet away from, put out a statement saying, yes, there was unnecessary contact by Josh Hart to Tim Hardaway Jr. He should have shot free throws. But he didn't.
Well, okay.
So that's the game. Schrader, what do you think?
First of all, it was a foul. I mean, it was pretty clearly a foul. But what's the point? Like, if you're the ref, why in the world would you just go, oh, yeah, that was a foul right after the game?
Right.
Like,
not even 10 minutes after the game concluded.
That's going to make the city of Detroit burn.
Oh,
that kind of statement right there. Like, that dude needs some bodyguards. He needs a security team around him because that's insane. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
If you're going to miss the call, I don't care how dumb it is, just stand on business. Like,
yeah, if you're gonna miss it, just miss it. Coming out and putting out a statement makes it worse.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then they have speculations of is the NBA playoffs rigged? You know what I'm saying? That's going to have speculations on that.
Lum's coming out firing.
And like, I don't know, like that foul is so clear as day. It was so clear.
It was obvious.
I mean,
it was obvious.
Like, I was watching the highlights last night, right? And I seen that last play. I was like, there's no way they missed that. There's no way you miss a call like that. I mean, it's clear as day. And like Richard said, that came out after the game and saying, oh, it was a foul. Duh.
That makes me more mad than the no call itself. Calling the no call when the call doesn't matter.
Right, you have the audacity to come back. You're the exact same referee. You're the crew chief. He was 5 feet away. He was the guy that missed the call. It would have been on him to blow the whistle. He didn't do it. Instead of going out and just owning it, saying, nope, I didn't think it was a foul. He came out not even 10 minutes after the game. The Pistons haven't even hit the showers yet. They're still on the court wondering what happened. The fans are still sitting there starting to rip each other to pieces. And he goes out, yeah, guys, that was a foul. Josh Hart ran into Tim Hardaway Jr.'s hip. I should have called that. It's ridiculous. I'm with you, Schrader. It's like, what is the point of coming out and doing this?
Yeah.
Now, what should be a 2-2 series, who knows? Tim Hardaway Jr. might have missed all 3.
That is true.
But the chances are he wouldn't have. The Pistons probably would have won this game. Either took it to OT by making 1 shot and won it by making 2 or 3. But either way, now the Detroit Pistons are down 3-1, about to go back to New York City, Madison Square Garden, in an elimination game in a couple days. That's a rough position to be in for the Detroit Pistons, and now they're in it. Do y'all think the Pistons will be able to somehow win this series, or do you think the damage is already done?
I don't know. 2 games in the Garden, 2 elimination games in the Garden. If they can get it to 7, that'd be insane. I mean, if they win this in 7, I'd say, like, bro, put them at the top of my list for the finals. Like, if you can manage that, I mean, that's a crazy run.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean, because like you said, because now you're going to have to win 2 elimination games in the Garden. This game was crucial for the Detroit Pistons. I thought if they won this game, they had a great chance of winning the series. But now looking forward, they'll have to win at some point this week in the Garden, come back to Detroit, win again, and then have that last game be in Madison Square Garden. I find it very hard to see it, man. They're going to have to win 3 straight games in a series where all 4 games up to this point have come down to the final shot, 1-possession games.
It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy things have happened, but I find it very hard to believe Detroit would be able to do it.
Did Detroit win in Detroit?
No, they have not. They lost both games in Detroit.
Now that's the problem. If you can't win at home, I mean, if it's harder for them to win at home than it is the Garden, forget the elimination games in the Garden.
And all 4 games prior have been 1 possession. You expect me to think they're just going to somehow win off 3 straight? I find it very hard to believe. I've seen crazy things happen in sports.
It can happen, bro.
And I think the Detroit Pistons might be done, but I do want to tip my cap to Cade Cunningham. He has been incredible throughout this playoff series, and he is taking his moment and showing everybody that he is a star in this league. Cade Cunningham's only 23 years old. He's super young. He's going to be around for a long time, and this is becoming a great playoff experience for him so far, putting the entire nation on notice. Another big-time game last night. The Minnesota Timberwolves taking down the L.A. Lakers 116-113 to take a commanding 3-1 lead in the series off of a 43-point performance from Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle also had 25. Despite 38 points from Luka Doncic, the Lakers couldn't do anything, and the Timberwolves held LeBron James scoreless in the fourth quarter. He still had 27 points, but he was scoreless in the fourth. Lim, what are you thinking about this series so far?
Sure, that's why they lost right there. He ain't scored. But I like Minnesota. I think they just have I think the last game, Jaden McDaniels had 30 points.
Yep.
He had 30 points, so that just goes to show you that anybody on the team can get hot. And I love their bench with DiVincenzo and Naz Reid. I think they're great. They're great players off the bench that gives this team a boost. So I wouldn't say it's a surprise that they're up 3-1, but they definitely showed that like they're a great team and they can possibly win this game in Game 5. So I don't know, LA. We gotta do something. We got down 3-1. Can LeBron repeat this? The Cavs come back. Can he do it again? We'll see.
Not by himself. Their brother's 60.
Yeah, he got Luka, Austin Reeves, and all them, but it's gonna be a tough task. I'll tell you that because Anthony Edwards, he's here to play. He's here to ball out, man.
I mean, the Timberwolves were a play-in team, correct?
Yep.
So they.
Well, they were not a play-in team. They were not a play-in team.
Not this year.
Either way,
they're the 6th seed.
The 6th seed. Still, I mean. It ain't going to be the Lakers in 5. That's one thing we know. I mean, I look at this series. It's surprising to me. Like I thought the Lakers were primed to make a deep postseason run with their new little squad they got.
Yep.
A little help from the Mavericks there, but I mean, Timberwolves are hot. The Timberwolves are hot. I got 2 texts yesterday back to back. One was Andrew Jefferson saying, "Holy crap! I think Anthony Edwards just tore his ACL."
Oh, yeah, when LeBron rolled into his leg, it was scary.
And then about 2 minutes later, it was, how in the world is this guy still on the court? And I think that sums up this series perfectly.
Anthony Edwards is the beast, man.
Yeah, one thing I love about, I guess, playoff NBA, similar to baseball and hockey, is that there's multiple games in these series, and things really can go either way. A fun little fact for y'all, over in the Eastern Conference, the lower seed in every single game is up by 3. And in the Western Conference, except for obviously the Thunder winning their series straight, and also the Nuggets and Clippers tied, you have the higher seed. No,
that's reversed. Yes. In the Eastern Conference, the higher seeds are up 3.
Are currently down 3-0.
I was just about to say because the Celtics are up 3-1 right now.
Yes. So in the Eastern Conference, the higher seed is 3, and then in the Western Conference for the Lakers, Timberwolves, and then the Rockets Warriors game, it's the other way around. So very interesting in terms of the two conferences.
It has been very interesting the way things have shaken out. We all knew the West would be very difficult to pick, but to see the Timberwolves go up 3-1 in this series, and also see the Knicks go up 3-1 in that series as well.
Yeah,
Carly, it's like you said, it's very interesting so far. I do want to say one thing. If the Lakers do want to find a way to get back in the series, I don't think they're going to win it. I think Anthony Edwards is taking his game to the next level and is elevating into superstardom. At one point, the announcer said you have to guard Anthony Edwards like you have to guard Steph Curry at this point in the game. That right there is incredible.
That's the best compliment
He's led the league. He's led the league in 3-point makes this season. He's been a marksman from outside. He can also get downhill and kill you like Ja Morant. Anthony Edwards is incredible, and also he's a staple defensively. Later in that game, it got to a point where he wanted to face guard whoever was with the ball. Luka had it, guard him the whole possession. Austin Reeves, LeBron, no matter who it was, ABG, anybody can get it. Ant-Man is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. But if the Lakers do want to get this gun and find a way to get back in the series, they're going to do something about this. Because in the second half, they made 0 substitutions. Their starting 5 stayed in the entire game, and their bench only had 6 points in the entire game. So if the Lakers want to find a way to get back into this series, JJ Redick is going to have to figure out a way to get guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, and Jared Vanderbilt involved, because without your bench, you don't stand a chance against this deep and hungry Minnesota Timberwolves team. Now, before we take a break, I just got to let you know there are 2 playoff games as well tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to try to sweep the Miami Heat tonight. They're currently up 3-0. They play at 7:30. And the Houston Rockets are looking to tie this series up against the Golden State Warriors at 2 games apiece. This is another one of those series that has been extremely entertaining night in and night out. That game starts, that game starts at 10. It's late, but every single game has been worth watching in that series. Be sure to tune in. That game is going to be incredible. Now, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick ad break, but when we get back, we are diving into every single possible storyline from this past weekend's NFL draft. Yes, we're going to talk about exactly what you think we're about to talk about and so much more. Stay tuned. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
Don't worry, there's a lot going on in the sports world. Catch Sports Pack on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on Wolf Sports Network for all the sports updates you need. The Wolves play here.
Over the horizon, a new show rises over Wolf Sports Network. To bring light to all things college sports. The Playbook, 6 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
It's a tale as old as time. All good things must come to an end. But this final ride is going to be legendary.
Oh, yeah.
More legendary than this.
Is this the dagger?
And this.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown!
So be sure to listen to Triple Threat every Friday starting at 11, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Sports fans, are you looking for a show where you can see other sports fans sharing in your misery and excitement? Then Sports Out of Pocket is for you, because we're fans too, and we experience our highs.
Bertigine is not a safety. He's just a corner who will lock down your number one.
And our lows.
Trayshawn Ward. Screw you, buddy. You were on our team last year, and you gave us no mercy, okay?
So join us every Wednesday at 5 to cheer and boo along with us, only on Wolf Sports Network.
On Sports Out of Pocket, we have a brand new segment called The Lottery, where we talk about the players that we're high on and low on. Like how we're high on Halliburton turning around this Pacers franchise, and how we're low on Bryce Young for sucking it up with the Panthers.
Whoa. Come on now. That wasn't his fault.
Okay, fair enough. But still, listen to The Lottery on Sports Out of Pocket for more opinions on young players in the league. Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesdays at 5, only on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack here on Wolf Sports Network, your home for all things UWG athletics.
Sign up early for your fall meal plan and get rewarded a free coupon book valued at $150 with a basic or Pack 7 meal plan or Pack 21, Wolves meal plan, and a Pack 10 plan. Man, they got a lot of plans. Be part of the pack. Share your meals and make memories and fuel your success. Hashtag hungry like a wolf and hashtag UWG meal plan. Let's do it.
In the NFL, only one thing matters. Chasing a dynasty.
And a lot of NFL teams spent this weekend building towards that exact dynasty, going out and getting player by player, trying to fill every hole possible to make their teams championship ready. But one player that we really thought was going to be in that equation early on was Shedeur Sanders. A lot of people like me had him mocked going 9th overall to the New Orleans Saints, and others had him going 21st overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, Thursday night came, and Thursday night went, and Shedeur Sanders did not wind up on either of those teams. So obviously we were thinking, okay, cool. They didn't think he was a first-round talent. All right, he's definitely going in the second round. One of these early picks to Cleveland, Vegas, maybe another team like the Rams to try to move up, get their heir apparent for Matthew Stafford. But no, it didn't happen. Second round came and went. So did the third. So did the fourth. Until the Cleveland Browns swooped in, drafting Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the NFL draft. Welcome back, Michael Miller. Carly and Schrader are still up here with me. We got to talk about this, man.
Yeah.
Give me your initial knee-jerk reaction to this entire Shedeur Sanders situation and why you feel this happened.
You know, like a lot of people kind of say, like, you know, he rubs some people off the wrong way, but I don't think that's any reason for him to slide this far. I could understand maybe the second round, like, you know, kind of seeing, you know, look at the Steelers. They kind of said, picking who they picked was Harmon out of Oregon, picking him, and then going, okay, maybe if he falls to us in the second round, then we pick him. That's kind of what I thought after round one, was that teams were maybe saying this guy might fall into our hands, he might fall into our laps. And then everybody passed on him again and again and again, and it was at that point that I was like, is there something we don't know? Like, why is he not getting picked? And it just turns out nobody wanted him till the 5th round. Doesn't make too much sense to me because I feel like he has a far higher ceiling and a little bit more talent than Dylan Gabriel does, who the Browns picked before him.
I'd argue Tyler Shuck as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the Saints.
Who the New Orleans
there.
Saints ended up picking in the 2nd round, but that's just me. A lot of reports have come out recently saying that he came in unprepared for some meetings with certain teams and rubbed other people the wrong way. I'm not sure those reports don't have much ground behind them because they haven't put names on those reports. A certain guy stepped up and said, yeah, my name is such and such from the New Orleans Saints, and I didn't like the way Shedeur Sanders was prepared for our meetings.
Yeah.
They didn't do any of that. It's just been anonymous report after anonymous report. Michael, what are your thoughts?
When he initially didn't get, like when Jackson Dart got picked instead of him in the 1st round, that didn't shock me because I mean, me personally, I like Dart a little bit better. It was close, but I like Dart better. I want to talk about that. The fact that he fell as far as he did, I think,
it was weird.
I know a lot of people want to make it a big deal about, I think Dion, and having that and having to deal with him along with picking Shedeur was kind of a thing. I do think that had something to do with it, but I think if you're going to fall from being a top 2, top 3 quarterback
this
all the way down.
This dude was like a top 3 pick until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
exactly. Like
exactly.
There's got to be something. Like I want to see like those meetings get released because I don't know what else.
We don't need Hard Knocks this year.
I don't know what else. I mean, the fact that he fell from that all the way down to the 5th round, and you have a guy like Tyler Shuck getting picked ahead of him. I like Dylan Gabriel, but like.
Not that much.
Right, but like, there's no way.
Yeah.
It's and even like Milroe, who's such a project. Like I mean, I think he's got talent, but he's such a work. I don't understand. There has to be something much farther than just his character that knocked him down that far.
100%. Because I mean, go ahead.
I mean, I think a lot of people were like, oh, like he and his family really needed to be humbled, this and that, the other. Like all that aside, but then also. He handled it very well in terms of posting on social media. Like at the end of every day, he was like, something's better for me, which I totally understand. Everything works out the way that it's supposed to. But I also think looking at this draft as a whole, it was not a QB draft. It was getting your holes in the defense and your O-line across the board.
Right.
So I don't think a lot of teams really were prioritizing that quarterback spot, but that, I mean, it still doesn't explain why Sanders dropped so far.
Right. It still doesn't explain why teams like Pittsburgh and New Orleans did not go with a quarterback until way later in the draft where they could have went out and got a guy in Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I'm sitting here, even if I'm a contender, like say I'm the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, and I'm sitting there in the 4th and 5th round, and this guy with the talent that Shedeur has is just sitting there, like, it might be a dumb move, but I'd pick him up. Like, pay $800,000 a year for a quarterback with the talent. Like, we know Shedeur has talent. I don't know why every team kept passing up on him. And the Browns, of all teams who already drafted a quarterback, getting him, like, Steelers should have picked him up.
Yep.
I mean, Will Howard's
No
great,
doubt.
but he's not Shedeur.
If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you go out, you let go of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, 2 guys that 9 times out of 10 will be starting quarterbacks in the NFL this year, both in the state of New York at that. You let both of them go. You keep George Pickens presumably for another year, and then you go out and get DK Metcalf from Seattle, a guy that you could argue he's a top 10 to 15 receiver in the NFL. Not here to debate that,
right.
But you go out and sign him for $30 million a year. You have a solid defense and a decent offensive line, wishy-washy run game, but nonetheless you have the 2 big-time receivers. And you're telling me you're sitting at 21, or you're sitting here throughout the NFL draft. And you're not going to draft, and you're not going to go out and draft a guy that behind the worst offensive line in college football had 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, compared to just 10 interceptions, averaged over 318 passing yards per game behind the worst offensive line in college football. That's not your guy. I understand that people may not have him graded as a first-round talent. I've talked to people that really love Shedeur Sanders and didn't have him as a first-round talent just because that he did have more work to do. His pocket presence wasn't the greatest,
right.
But he might not have exactly. He might not have Jalen Milroe athleticism or the arm of Josh Allen, but what he is a super accurate thrower of the football. He's composed. He's battle tested. He's got the NFL background. Whether you love or hate Deion Sanders, he's been coached by the best of the best. Pat Shermer was his offensive coordinator, a guy that's been a coach in the NFL for hundreds of years. It feels like he's coached more years in the NFL than I've been alive drawing breath on this earth. So he's been coached up by great people. He's delivered on the football field. Yeah, you may not have him graded as a first-round talent, but to have him slide to the 5th round of the NFL draft is a disgrace. And I hope Shedeur Sanders has a big-time chip on his shoulder. And I hope when he gets the opportunity, he runs away with it and never gets off the field.
Almost to go like the devil's advocate route, do you think that maybe one reason teams didn't want to pick him up is because It's like, yeah, Deion's his father, but Deion's been his coach for probably his entire life. I know high school, college, like Deion's been the main guy coaching him. Do you think that could be a problem? Like maybe this guy, I mean, Deion is all he's ever known as a coach. That offense at Colorado was most definitely made for him as a quarterback. I mean, they never ran the ball.
But what I will say is, I'll say they didn't run the ball because they didn't have the offensive line to do it. They didn't really have a lot of success running the ball. But don't you cater your offense towards your quarterback skill set anyway?
That is
like
true.
when Jalen Milroe takes over in Seattle, I guarantee you they're not just going to have him drop back and pass like Drew Brees every down.
100%.
They're going to have design runs, things of that nature in there. So I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like as a coach, it's on you to cater it towards your player. Find ways to make him comfortable. If you want to be completely honest with you, I think it's one thing. And I think it just comes down to human nature. There are people, yeah, he may have come in those meetings very confident. Some might call that confidence arrogance, the same kind of way that his father, Deion Sanders, carried himself in the draft process. When asked about if the New York Giants were going to draft Deion said, I would have asked them for so much money they would have had to put me on layaway. It's funny now, but NFL teams and general managers hated that back then. So for Shedeur Sanders to be his son, coming in just as confident as his father, a lot of guys might just be sitting in the meeting room like, yeah, man, I don't really like this guy. And because I don't like this guy, he's about to drop down my draft board. And because I like this guy that might not be as talented, he's going to go up my draft board. It comes down to the fact that there aren't robots up there in the front offices for these NFL teams. There are human beings. And human beings sometimes move off emotion. They're like, you know what, I really like this guy. I don't like his dad. I don't like his background. Whatever it may be. I don't like the fact that he celebrates by singing his own song, Perfect Time, or whatever it may be. They decided to knock him down, and they knocked him down. He got drafted in the 5th round. I'm not sure what the exact reason was. I'm going to go just off human nature.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I hope that Shedeur Sanders gets out there and competes, finds a way to get his way onto the field, and proves everyone wrong. But we're going to go ahead and pivot from that conversation because that's not the only thing that happened in the NFL draft. That's been the conversation that has dominated a lot of draft dialogue. It's dominated our hours thus far. There's a lot more to discuss. A lot of teams came away big time in this game.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to pose a question. Carl, I want to start with you. Who do you feel the biggest winner as an overall team was this NFL draft cycle?
You know, I am biased, but I really do think that the Broncos came away with a really good draft class. I mean, we didn't need a quarterback, so we didn't get a quarterback, but we did fill a lot of holes that needed to be filled. First off, I mean, with Jahdae Barron coming from Texas at the cornerback, I mean, he tied for second in the SEC with 5 interceptions during the 2024 season. And now with him on one side and Pat Surtain the second on the other side, I mean, we're doing pretty good, and Bo Nix needs those playmakers to make those plays happen. So I'm really excited. We got a couple other SEC folks, and then as well as Pat Bryant from Illinois, the wide receiver. I think he's going to be a really good talent on this team. So I'm really excited for this Broncos season coming up.
Yeah, the Broncos put together a really nice draft class. And like you said, pairing up Jahdae Barron with Moss and Patrick Surtain out in that secondary, that defense looks scary. Michael?
I was originally going to go Baltimore because of their the positioning. I thought the value they got when they picked where they picked Malachi Starks and Mike Green, like the value situation there, I thought was really good for them. I can't ignore Cleveland though. I can't do it. A lot of people are flaming them for trading that number 2 pick away. I like it. You get Brandon Graham. Your defensive line is now Myles Garrett off the edge and Brandon Graham up the middle. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
On top of that, you go get Quidshad Judkins in the 2nd round.
That's crazy.
Along with who I think Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody. He's ridiculous.
Yes.
And you get him in the 4th to pair him up with obviously Nick Chubb being hurt all the time. That's you have insurance there now. And then Carson Schlesinger in the 2nd round is the most underrated pick in this draft right now. That guy he's really good. He's really good. I think he was good enough to go like not too high, not super high in the 1st round, but I feel like he could have been a top 20 pick in the 1st round, and that wouldn't have been a reach.
Yeah. I definitely understand where you're coming from. The Browns had a lot of capital. Yeah, they drafted 1 million quarterbacks, and now their quarterback roster is deep. But like you said, they went out and addressed other needs as well. The Browns put together a very solid draft class. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna run in here with 2. I'm gonna speed run it though. First one I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I love what the Raiders did. Another team that didn't necessarily focus on quarterback. They focused on everything else, building a team around a quarterback. It's almost like it's a good idea to have a team that can bring in a quarterback to succeed instead of vice versa. But
they do have Geno already kind of set in place.
They do have Geno. But I really like, obviously, Genty. You got your running back of the future. We know he's a generational talent. Not much need there. Not much need to talk there. And then you got Beck, the TCU wide receiver, who just has one heck of a story. If you don't know about it, look it up because this kid's going to be playing with one heck of a chip on his shoulder. And then J.J. Peegs in the 6th round from Ole Miss. This dude is a dog on the interior defensive line. He's a stud, and he's going to be a difference maker over there in Vegas. And then the other team, got to talk about the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks did just a great job in this draft as well, specifically going down to that 7th round. I mean, they got Ricky White from UNLV and Damian Martinez from Miami, two very, very good prospects, as well as you go to the 3rd round. We've already said his name today, but Jalen Milroe. I mean, if you got a guy, I don't know how much Sam Darnold's going to be able to help Jalen Milroe because their play styles are almost exact opposites, but when it comes to passing the ball, I'm sure Sam Darnold's going to play a huge role in developing Jalen Milroe, and in a couple of years, the keys to that offense are going to be his, and he's going to be very successful.
Man, if Jalen Milroe can sit back behind Sam Darnold and develop the way we've seen other quarterbacks develop over the past few years, most recently Jordan Love, he could be incredible, man. Because if you just fix the small things in Jalen Milroe's game, he already has a great deep ball, but help him to read defense a little better, take the check down, get his short and intermediate accuracy correct. With that athleticism,
Milroe's ceiling is insane. I mean,
dude, he has one of the highest ceilings in the NFL.
100%.
Lamar Jackson-like ceiling.
Yeah,
it's incredible. And it's gonna be fun to watch. And also, I think he's too athletic to just keep off the field in year one. I feel like we're gonna see some sort of like Taysom Hill packages. Yeah. Maybe not lining him up at tight end, but I feel like we're definitely gonna see Jalen Milroe on the field, maybe like mid-season for the Seattle Seahawks, as they look for anything to help jumpstart that very young offense. But I just want to sit back and talk about one team that I feel like really did a great job in the draft, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a hometown fan. I love the Atlanta Falcons, and they only had 5 picks in this draft. But what they did with those 5 picks were incredible. 15th overall, taking the guy that all of us had as number 1 on our draft boards for the Atlanta Falcons in Jalen Walker. Big-time running back for the from the Georgia Bulldogs, had a great career at Georgia, won the Butkus Award for the best linebacker in college football. It's really going to help that Falcons defense that's really struggled with a pass rush and having a good linebacker core because he gets after the passer, rushed the passer very well, had 3 sacks against Texas early in the season. But then they also go double down at that position and go out and get James Pierce, a guy that was looked at as the number 1 overall pick going into the season. Had a down year in Tennessee for James Pierce standards, still a very good year as a pass rusher. Ended up going 26th overall to the Falcons. And then in the 3rd round, going out and getting Xavier Watts, the safety from Notre Dame in the 3rd round. Really good safety, had a great run in the college football playoff as Notre Dame made it to the national championship. He was a game wrecker. He was one of those guys that was a pest, seemed to always be in the play. Dude, he was incredible for the Fighting Irish. Yeah. But I also want to talk about 2 other guys. 2 guys that were undrafted free agents, or what people call UDFAs in the NFL. Guys that were picked that weren't drafted, but as I said, were undrafted free agents and signed on to the Atlanta Falcons. The first one being Kobe Bryant, not the one we all know and love. His name is spelled Cobee Bryant, cornerback from Kansas.
He went undrafted.
From Kansas, he went undrafted.
That's crazy.
3-time first-team All-Pro in the Big 12. Has been the best corner in the Big 12 for the past 3 years, as I just stated. Went undrafted because a lot of people were weary about his size. He's skinny, but he's a long corner. He's 6'2", really long arms. That stuff can be coached. He has really good technique. We can put on weight. So I feel like the Falcons did a great job drafting him. They needed some help at corner. But they also went out and got a guy by the name of Nick Nash, the Triple Crown winner in college football this year.
That's my
a lot of people say he was the best wide receiver in college football with 104 catches, over 1,300 yards, and 16 touchdowns this past NFL season. The Falcons went out and got a steal picking up Nick Nash, and I guarantee you this can be a guy that can somehow creep his way into the Falcons starting lineup and never get off the field. You can run any route in the book, but in this Falcons offense, you already have Drake London as your X, running your big-time wide receiver stuff. But a guy like Nick Nash can kind of move around throughout, running the short intermediate routes, and end up with like 6-7 catches a game. He has that kind of ceiling. That's why he was such a volume receiver for San Diego State. He's one of those guys that is a quarterback's best friend. So I feel like the Falcons really did a great job in the draft and also getting 2 undrafted free agents, Kobe Bryant and Nick Nash. Do not forget those names. They could prove to be big-time playmakers for the Atlanta Falcons. I think Terry just saved his job. Now, that's all the time we got for Sports Pack today. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to Carly. Also, happy birthday once again. Everybody say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chuck.
Tell happy birthday. Tell Carly happy birthday in the live chat if you're still tuned in. Thank you, Michael Miller, for filling in for us. Thank you, Jackson Schrader. Thank you, Lim. Thank you, Phoenix. Everybody who's helped contribute to this episode. John was not here today, but he will be here Thursday for what is our last episode of the semester and Carly's last show as a part of Wolf Sports Network. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a big-time show, probably a tearjerker, just like the last show from last year. Yep. But, hey, man, that's what we do. Make good content and create lifelong memories. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Have a blessed night. And, this has been Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network. See you Thursday. You are now listening to